Hey guys, welcome to the Peoplestreamer. This podcast is all about giving people more than 30 seconds. I am your host, Ranout, and today I'm having a visitor from outer space. No, he's a creative streamer, semi-creative streamer. He does a lot of creative things. He paints figurines. He's building a Tibetan house at the moment, what's really cool and really, how do I say this? He really put his creative mind behind it, and I absolutely love it. He is a great D&D fan. He made a character with us, and my mind is still boggled about that one. It's so much information, but it's like when you get into it, you will understand. You have to. It's like riding a bike. Try to do it, and once you get it, you are on your way. He's also a biologist with a love for nature, and he has some cool things coming up on his streams, like conspiracy theories and whatnot. And I'm really curious what's that's gonna be about. So, welcome, Yurimon. How are you doing, dude?
First of all, thank you for having me. And I think you put it very nice, very good by saying that it's like riding a bike. Once you get into it, you're all good. Like you never get out of it. Once you learn how to play D&D, you're good. You're set for life.
You're set for life. You don't need nothing else.
Yeah, you're set for life. You don't need any other hobbies. Nah.
You get sucked into that world, and it's all you think
Yeah,
about.
sure. It is. But yeah, I have a lot of things planned, building a lot of stuff, and yeah.
They can find you on twitch.tv/Yurimon.
Yes, that's true. I also have a Discord where I'm very active. That's actually the only thing where I'm active at. So,
But that's okay, dude. Some things you have to take small steps, and if you are in too many different things, the information gets diluted in a way.
yeah, that's true.
So tell us more about how you got into Twitch, into streaming.
Well, streaming was actually not my first idea of doing something regarding content creation. I first started out with a couple of friends with a YouTube channel where we did some couch gaming basically. We recorded our voice, we recorded the gameplay, and we just had a lot of fun with it. But then things got in between, and when it became less easy to hook up or less easy to like find a date when we are going to record these things. Yeah, I was really bummed about it. So I was like, I want to do something. First of all, I wanted to do something, and I don't want to do like the whole editing stuff, which is a pain to do alone. And second of all, yeah, I really wanted to have more interaction with the people who watch the content that I create. And then I came on like streaming, and then YouTube. Are we going to stream on YouTube? Are we going to stream on Twitch? I made a Twitch account. I really liked the environment. I really liked the vibe that people have on Twitch, and I was like, yeah, I can find myself doing some things on Twitch. And here we are, almost 1 year now. I think that I'm doing this semi-professional.
Semi-professional. That's a cool intake on that one. But you're doing it awesomely, in my opinion. I can't speak for the rest, but I'm sure when they see you, they feel the same. And I brought you in here to talk about more about your creative side and your creative streaming. Why did you decide to go with a creative flow in your channel?
That's actually a good one because I did like a lot of things. I started out actually by doing only creative stuff, but at the time I was living in a very small apartment and I had a very small desk, and it was a pain to just set everything up. First of all, you need to have, if you want to do it how I'm doing it and how the most people are doing creative streams, you need to have 2 webcams set up, which is also a very tricky thing to pull off regarding recording software or broadcasting software. You need to have a lot of gear around you because you're working on something. You need to have paint, you need to have your brushes, you need to have a glue gun. It was fine and all, and I also did some coloring streams where I just opened up like a coloring book and just colored a picture. But yeah, I stopped doing that for a while because it was such a hassle to do, just cleaning up, setting everything up. And now that I'm first of all having a bigger desk and having some more space to store everything, I'm back into the creative stuff. And I think I really want to do this because it's a good outlet, kind of a mindfulness thing that I'm busy with my hands doing something, crafting something. For instance, now with my Tibetan house, the things that I needed to do in order to get where I'm now with that project is, yeah, it's just, for me it's just a zen place. And I want to share that with the world, actually, that you can just do your own thing, whether it's gaming or whether it's doing something creative. But when you're making something creative, you let your mind go, and in contrast with doing a game, or playing a game, you're just following along the rules that the game sets up. And I really find it calming, and I really find it just relaxing and fun to do that. You don't have those boundaries, you know? The only boundary you have is when you're doing something creative is the material you have. And then you can just, even then you can adapt, basically.
When you set your mind free and you try different things, is the result the same that you envisioned, or do you build on it, or is it by a program? First I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do that, and then that, or ooh, I like this, I want to see where this takes me. What happens at that point?
Most of my projects are actually just on the fly. Things that I'm doing are just happening. I do make preparations. For instance, with the Tibetan house, I had to make small cuts from isolation foam and small stones from that. That's then something I do. But when it comes to the real creative thing, I just do the things on the fly. And as people coming on my stream and talking with me, they some people really think that I'm some sort of a Bob Ross type, because in my first of all, and yeah, I'm jumping back and forth, I know, but
Go right ahead, dude. You were saying that you paint all day and explain what you do.
I don't paint all day, and if I paint, it's a small figurine, and then that, even that, I can't do that for like 4 hours straight because I'm cross-eyed by then. But I was saying that when you're doing something creative, well, for me, it's things happen, and things don't go as you planned, or things don't look like you envisioned. But that's the beauty of it. The only thing you can do is build on that. First of all, you can build on your skill that you're acquiring by doing those things and make it better. Hone your skills like you envisioned it. Yeah, things happen in your project. And as the real godlike Bob Ross once said, there are only happy accidents in your project. And the only thing you can do is build on that. For instance, if on my Tibetan house, the next thing that I need to do is make a roof. If shit happens and roof doesn't turn out the way I want to, I can just let my creativity go and make something of that. You know,
Yeah, I can understand that.
that's the whole beauty of that. And you're just building your thing. You're building your own world as you go, and that's again something very Bob Ross to say. You just build your own world, and it's yours. You can do whatever you want. I really like sharing those things. Even with my miniatures, you have a miniature, it's unpainted, you made it the way you want it to be, and then you can give it color. You can make the color as you want, and that's the cool thing. The last miniature I made was a Hero Quest figurine, and I always envisioned it like a green creature, a green lizard like creature, and I was like, you know what? Let's make him blue.
That's cool, dude.
Let's make him a blue creature. Let's make him blue, like blue skin and the scales he had. Let's make it yellow, a pretty cool color scheme for a creature. And I was actually really happy with the way it turned out. Now my view of how those creatures behave and how they react to certain situations completely changed than when they were unpainted, because they came unpainted in a green plastic, and that's why I always envisioned them green. But now they're like slithery sea creatures, very big, very bulky, but still when they jump into the water, they turn in like those squid-like creatures that are very fast and very nimble.
So you actually gave them a different background story.
Yeah, by just painting them. That's also something that I really like about those things. That making something, you're creating a story around it. And that's also something that Bob Ross did. If you watch the channel, the Bob Ross Twitch channel, he's always talking. He's always making up a story. Like when he starts off with, let's make a blue sky. And maybe in that sky there are a little bit of clouds. And then he makes the clouds. And then he says, yeah, maybe there lives a mountain way back into the landscape. And then he just draws it. And then when his painting and his story goes, he completes something unique. Every time he does that, it's something different. You can do it with your mind, as he does, and that's pretty cool. But if you can hone the skills as he did to put it in a painting, it's just marvelous. And that's something that I, first of all, want to achieve as well, for the skills. And I really want to share those stories that we make together as streamer, as a viewer, in these projects.
You were talking about honing your skills as well, and I think it's
Yeah.
great that you're making a story together with your audience, and I want to see more about that, how you incorporate that.
Well, I try to. I try to.
Honing your skills, how did you learn the craft that you do? How did you do the painting?
Start painting, I guess. Yeah, really. I started out with like cheap acrylic paint from the dollar store and the Hero Quest figurines, cheap brushes from the dollar store, and I just started painting. And then you get into that. You start to look up. You start to search for techniques. You start to realize that your paint is like the absolute worst, and you're like, okay, let's buy a cheap starter pack from Citadel painting. And people are going to shoot me when I say that, because there is a paint war going on between Vallejo and Citadel paints, but that's a whole other story.
I'm envisioning now like two stores on each end of the street catapulting paints at each other at this moment. This paint is better, you mortals! Sorry, I broke off. My imagination went wild.
I can dig that.
What you were saying, there was a paint war, and
Then you have those paints, and you're like, okay, fine, let's try that out. And you notice that the painting goes much smoother. You start looking up other techniques like the typical dry brushing and the layering, and then you go to a whole other level of painting, which is blending. And that's something that I try to hone right now, where you try to blend in two different colors with each other with a seamless transition. Pretty difficult. I'm working on it, let's say it. And then it's just, yeah, practice. That's the only thing you need to do with those skills. The same for the Tibetan house I'm building right now. That's my first ever like real diorama build that I'm making. So far I'm having a blast doing it. I watched a lot of videos about it, how you can do it, which materials you use, and then it's just, yeah, you just practice. Because if I'm looking at the house right now, it's like just the four walls, they're complete. Can really see a difference with the first wall I did and with the last wall I finished. And that's also pretty neat thing to see, like progress within a build. That's something that keeps me going, you know? If you can see progress in something that you do yourself, it really enhances the courage and the thing to keep you going. And the same goes for being creative in other things. If you like see a lot of progress in a game where you just faff around and being creative in how you handle certain situations, yeah, you just want to keep doing those things, you know, just to see how far you can push the limits of a game and the limits of your computer itself, maybe.
what are the kind of creative things that you do while streaming a game?
Making up a story is something that I really like to do. For instance, I'm now also, besides the creative stuff, I'm like trying to keep it 50-50 between games and creative stuff. But I'm now playing the Deus Ex games. Yeah, we're just role playing a super spy, and we're going full on James Bond, full on GI Joe when it's possible with the audience. We just go, what do we need to be a super spy? We need, first of all, we need a silencer on our gun. Next, what do we need? We need a gun that where we can put people to sleep with instead of killing them, because yeah, we're like the good guys, so we're not killing people unless we have no choice. And trying to, like, last stream I needed to infiltrate a building, and I had so much possibilities, and I was like, yeah, let's just Ocean 11 this shit by going in, talk to the manager. It was like in a bank or in like some building where they store things, and I was like, yeah, let's open up an account, and when we're in like the place where we discuss our business, we'll just knock out the guy, go into the vents, and get to the place we need to go. That didn't work out, so we needed to find something else, and yeah, it was really.
Ocean 11, screw that movie. That doesn't work.
And then things got haywire. We needed to adapt, and then yeah, things. I was like, I think I was like almost an hour trying to get in there, and then we were at our goal. We needed to hack a computer or something, and we opened up the computer, and a pop-up came up with, "You do not require the skill to hack this computer." So basically, we faffed around more than an hour to realize that we are under level for this area, but we still pulled it off to get into the office we needed to be. And that was actually pretty cool. For me, it was pretty cool that we just pulled it off by not getting noticed, first of all. And second of all, by getting there under level. Just by being creative, just by envisioning, or just by role playing such scenarios, not by just listening to what the guy says and just clicking what suits best, but just, yeah, role playing, and we're like super spies, so we're not going in guns blazing, because that's something we also could do. Pretty important that you do such things also for your audience, because if you're sitting there, like how they say in Dutch, like a plant, like just a dead person playing the game, just clicking things that seem obvious without reading out loud what the options are, because that's something that I also try to do. Like if we get some options, I just read out loud the options, and I ask the audience what we should pick, because it's also a game where we need to make persuasion choices. And I'm like, okay, guys, this is a persuasion challenge. Get ready. I'm going to read our options. What do we need to choose in order to get this as good as we want it to be? If it goes haywire, depending on the situation, I try to reload to get a good outcome, but I try to minimize it, because that's part of life. If you fuck up a conversation, you need to live with it.
True, true.
That's also something that I try to envision in the game, because if you're like, that's not the way I wanted that I envisioned it, or that's not the way I wanted it to turn out, I'm just gonna reload to the previous save, and we're gonna do it the right way. You can do that, but it's so it's not going with the story. For instance, I needed to reload a certain situation with like a mob boss, because I already played part of the game, and he really is a very good ally, and I really wanted him as an ally. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna reload it, because I really want this guy on my side, because if he's not, he's gonna fuck us over at the end of the game, and I really don't want that guy on my bad side. Actually, there were three options. First of all, we could complete it the right way, like we did. We could just avoid the whole conversation, sneak in, steal what we need, get out without being seen. We could go in guns blazing and possibly have that guy as an enemy later in the game, or fuck up the situation and steal his shit anyway.
I would choose for the last one probably.
I really like those things when people or when streamers just go with the story. If something fucks up, just go with it. If a situation doesn't turn out, wing it. Try to be creative in the way. Try to find solutions, because that's what it's all about in regards of being creative. finding solutions on the spot, especially in streaming and in gaming. And that's something that I really miss sometimes because people don't tend to push themselves anymore in games. If I once in a future lifetime decided to play Skyrim, which I think I would not because it's a fuck ass long game, I would challenge myself, but really hard. I would like ask my audience what kind of character they want to see, even if I don't like know how the stuff works. Every situation would be a unique challenge, and I would dare to ask the audience, how are we going to handle this situation? It's pretty interesting, the situation, the things you can get out of that. It's not only being creative yourself as a streamer, but trying to engage your audience to be creative as well is something that I really like, first of all, doing. And second of all, as a viewer itself, I really like being in such streams where people ask, what are we going to do now? How are we going to handle this? We've been handling every situation like this. You've been here all the way. Our character, these are his traits, these are his personality traits. Would it fit to start sneaking all of a sudden, or would it fit to start a very intelligent conversation? Would it be in his nature to go in guns blazing and fuck everyone up? And that's like opening up possibilities together with your audience.
You were talking about you give your audience choices and how you immerse yourself in the game to give the audience a better feel for the game. Do you role playing character? Do you stream as a character sometimes, or like you dress up like a spy to play the spy games, or is that something that you think that's too much of a stretch?
If it's in your nature, you can do that. Every streamer is unique, and I think you need to first of all push being yourself instead of push being unique, because it can end up being something you don't like to be. When people come in my stream or loyal followers, they know who I am, and I really push forward being yourself. That's actually it's a cheesy tip to give, but it works because people get to know you who you are instead of if you play a character, you can do it. I personally don't, but you're stuck with it, you know? It can grow on you like Dr. Disrespect. He's like it's all a show. We don't know the guy behind Dr. Disrespect, which can be something he did in the beginning to be safe because he felt unsafe about himself and he was like, okay, I'm going to put on a wig, put on a fake mustache, put on sunglasses, and I'm going to be an ass on game. I mean, just being an ass in game. He's being rude to other players. He's being disrespectful. He's being Dr. Disrespect. That's something he does. That's something what his character does. I'm like the most honest person about it. You do you and I do me. And I really like pushing forward my personality. If people follow me, I want it to be because who I am, not because the character that I put up or the game that I'm playing. Because yeah, I'm playing a lot of games. Honestly, it's not that I'm playing Fortnite all day, all night. I think that's something very important. If you want to push being unique, you're going to focus on things that people like. If people like you to be rude, you're going to be more rude. But if it's not in your nature to be rude, you're stuck with it. If you're building an audience based on that character trait and you start then being yourself, it's going to backfire on you. That's one of the main reasons actually. I'm just being myself on stream. I can have an off day and you'll notice it that I'm having an off day. I'll be quiet. I'll be short minded. I'll be not putting out the best gameplay ever. I'll be honest about it and I'll tell it. It's not that I need to lie about it because the viewers are there for me and not for the character traits that I put up, you know?
That's a cool way to look at it, dude. And it's a whole lot more explanation about being yourself than you normally get, because a lot of people say it, be yourself, but what does that mean, being yourself?
Being yourself means being honest, and that's weird to say, but it first of all means being honest about just towards yourself. If you have a fixed stream schedule and you're like, I'm not feeling streaming today, I'll be putting on stream, I'll go live, and I'll say it immediately, guys, I'm having an off day, I don't feel like streaming today, but let's try. Let's just fire up a game. Let's just get our miniature and just go with it. If I like it afterwards, if I like it after half an hour, we'll continue. If I don't, I'll shut down the stream because I'm not feeling it. That's also something that I mean with being honest. Because you're honest towards yourself, you're not pushing yourself too much, and you're honest towards your viewers because they're like, okay, he's here because he wanted to give it a try. Let's give it a try as well. Let's try to cheer him up or something. I don't know. If you have good loyal fans that watch, they maybe try to talk their way through it. You know, they're like, "Hey, dude, what's up? Can we? If you want to talk about it, just do." I think that being honest towards yourself and towards your streamers, towards your viewers, creates a sort of a safe haven within your stream, really enhances the connection between you and people who watch you. That's actually a thing that you want to achieve, and I really support by giving people more than 30 seconds. And I really dig that because you can't know someone in 30 seconds.
That's true.
Because if you're judging someone in 30 seconds, you're judging that person on game he's playing, his gameplay. That's the only thing you see in 30 seconds. You can't see a personality. You can't see honesty. You can't see creativity. How is he handling certain situation? The only thing you can see is the game he's playing and maybe how often he dies in a game. If he's playing, for instance, Overwatch or Fortnite, if you're coming in someone's stream and he's playing Paladins, which is the free version of Overwatch, maybe you have already like a pre-made opinion about that because it's just a free game. It's less than the paid version. And second of all, he dies 3 times in the 30 seconds you watch. Then you're like, this dude is not worth my time because he can't play a game and he's just being here for being here. And maybe when you come into his stream and you watch a bit longer, maybe it is his intention to die so much because his fans, his loyal fans, are like, yeah, let's see how many times we can die inside of a game, inside of inside of a match. What's the max amount of what's the max death counter we can get with this character by playing bad?
I find that the most positive thing that you can ever say, like that somebody
Just make it
dies
a
so
challenge.
much.
Like
Okay, next challenge for everybody who's listening. Start up a game with your viewers, with your stream, and try to die as much as you can for like let us say 50 minutes?
yeah, a match of 50 minutes. You can say,
50
okay,
minutes.
if I die between this amount and this amount of, for instance, you get your viewers to vote on or to bet on an amount of deaths you can get, and the viewer that is closest to that wins a giveaway or something, and your goal is to play as bad as you can.
I don't think I ever seen a giveaway doing that way. I think that's an awesome idea, and a lot of people going to do this.
At the moment, this is just me being creative. This is not pre-made or something. I just winged it. But these things you can't see in 30 seconds.
That's true. That's why I started this whole thing, to give people more than 30 seconds and also to change people's minds about how to watch streams. That's not only when you come in like, eh, mm, ah, yeah, he died 3, 4, 5, 6 times, but maybe his personality is one of the greatest you will ever know. Maybe you become friends in real life. There's so much maybes that you can't answer in 30 seconds.
Yeah, for
And
instance.
that's why I do this. So thank you again for the acknowledgement as well. And for the great talk, dude. It started with creativity and we broadened its spectrum of creativity. And I love that. Is there one tip you would give people for streaming, the one tip for creativity or streaming, or how to get into creativity. What is the one tip you would give?
One tip is difficult. I can give two, if that's okay.
Sure.
Be honest towards yourself and towards your viewers. Push yourself into new situations in a game, in a creative way. Push yourself into the thing that you normally wouldn't do, because it pushes your creative side in how to handle the situation. And if you then throw in opinions of your viewers, it really enhances the connectivity between you and your viewers. It really enhances how you're going to look at yourself and going to look at the game you're playing. It really is a lot more fun to play a game if you push yourself into new situations. And that's the two things I have as a tip. Be honest and push yourself. You don't need to push yourself in like insane situations, but as the example we gave before, and I'm going to patent that because
Patent away.
because that's my idea.
Where can people find you? Because I'm sure a lot of people
Wow.
are interested in you as a person right now. So where can they find you?
I hope that's the case because I'm.
That is the case, dude. Always positive.
I'm not streaming for the game, at least for the project I'm making. People can find me on Twitch for sure, twitch.tv/joerimon. I'm also sort of active on Twitter and Instagram, which is also at joerimon or joerimon gaming. I don't know my credentials.
I think Twitter is at joerimon gaming or Yuri_mon. I don't know.
Yeah, Yuri_mon would be the Instagram where I actually post my creative works. Most of it will be the finished works or work in progress. So if you're like, yeah, I'm interested in his purely creative stuff, you can go there. I also have a YouTube channel, but that's not that active, so let's just forget about that.
Scrap that.
Of course, the Discord. That's the thing where I'm most active at, just engaging with the community I'm building up at the moment, asking a lot of questions on Discord. We have a separate poll channel where I ask a lot of stuff what people want to see on the community streams, because once a month I'm just doing a stream purely for my viewers. And yeah, I'm asking a lot of questions up on what we're going to discuss and what we're going to do on that stream. So that's it, I guess.
Cool, dude. Thank you again for coming on, and I will see you next time.
It's a pleasure, man. It really is. Thank you for having me.
And for those who stuck around long enough to enjoy the magic that just happened about this conversation, I want to thank you again. And you also can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Also, please subscribe so that you can hear more of these videos. I'm still in my Twitch vibe, and that's why I always say see, but we'll get there.
Yeah, regarding on that.
Follow me, each other. Okay, bye-bye, guys.